Classroom discipline and management causes the most fear and consternation in new teachers. However, classroom management is a skill that is not only learned, but practiced daily. Teachers can make immense improvements if they focus on getting results. Here are 10 tips that can lead to successful classroom management and discipline. Key overall is making classroom management not just the teacher's job, but also that of the students, their own responsibility. These tips can help you cut down on discipline problems and leave you with fewer interruptions and disruptions. 1. It's easier to get easier. Many teachers make the mistake of starting the school year with a poor discipline plan. Students quickly assess the situation in each class and realize what they will be allowed to get away with. Once you set a precedent of allowing a lot of disruptions, it can be very hard to start better classroom management and discipline techniques. However, it is never tough to get easier as the year goes on. While you don't have to follow the adage, never smile until Christmas, it does have its merits. 2. Fairness is key. Students have a distinct sense of what is and what is not fair. You must act fairly for all students if you expect to be respected. If you do not treat all students equitably, you will be labeled as unfair. Students will not be keen to follow your rules. Make sure that if your best student does something wrong, they too get punished for it. 3. Deal with disruptions with as little interruption as possible. When you have classroom disruptions, it is imperative that you deal with them immediately and with as little interruption of your class momentum as possible. If students are talking amongst themselves and you are having a classroom discussion, ask one of them a question to try to get them back on track. If you have to stop the flow of your lesson to deal with disruptions, then you are robbing students who want to learn of their precious in-class time. 4. Avoid confrontations in front of students. Whenever there is a confrontation in class, there is a winner and a loser. Obviously, as the teacher, you need to keep order and discipline in your class. However, it is much better to deal with discipline issues privately than cause a student to lose face in front of their friends. It is not a good idea to make an example out of a disciplinary issue. Even though other students might get the point, you might have lost any chance of actually teaching that student anything in your class. 5. Stop disruptions with a little humor. Sometimes all it takes is for everyone to have a good laugh to get things back on track in a classroom. Many times, however, teachers confuse good humor with sarcasm. While humor can quickly diffuse a situation, sarcasm may harm your relationship with the students involved. Use your best judgment. 6. Keep high expectations in your class. Expect that your students will behave, not that they will disrupt. Reinforce this with the way you speak to your students. When you begin the day, tell your students your expectations. For example, you might say, "During this whole group session, I expect you to raise your hands and be recognized before you start speaking. I also expect you to respect each other's opinions and listen to what each person has to say." 7. Overplan. Free time is something teachers should avoid. By allowing students time just to talk each day, you are setting a precedent about how you view academics and your subject. To avoid this, overplan. When you have too much to cover, you'll never run out of lessons, and you will avoid free time. You can also fill up any leftover time with mini lessons as described elsewhere on this site. 8. Be consistent. One of the worst things you can do as a teacher is to not enforce your rules consistently. If one day you ignore misbehaviors, and the next day you jump on someone for the smallest infraction, your students will quickly lose respect for you. Your students have the right to expect you to basically be the same every day. Moodiness is not allowed. Once you lose your students' respect, you also lose their attention and their desire to please you. 9. Make rules understandable. You need to be selective in your rules. No one can follow 180 rules consistently. You also need to make them clear. Students should understand what is and what is not acceptable. Further, you should make sure that the consequences for breaking your rules are also clear and known beforehand. 10. Start fresh every day. This tip does not mean that you discount all previous infractions. However, it does mean that you should start teaching your class each day with the expectation that students will behave. Don't assume that because Julie has disrupted your class every day for a week, she will disrupt it today. By doing this, you will not be treating Julie any differently, and thereby setting her up to disrupt again, like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Also very helpful is to be aware of your own classroom management style, and go from there. In terms of looking at issues and making changes, see our survey and find out what your own classroom management style is. Link in the description. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your classroom management.